Marcelo I. Cabrera Vocational High School from Rojas District Division of Oriental Mindoro presents the study entitled Challenges in Modular Distance Learning, Basis for the Improvement of Learning Continuity Plan, with its researchers WINONA E. SANQUE, School Principal 4, Jennifer S. DOLOROTA, Senior High School Teacher 3, and HARLAN E. MERCADO, Senior High School Teacher 3.
Education plays an important role in shaping the lives of learners. In the process, the school and its stakeholders are the essential instruments in delivering quality learning. The current COVID-19 crisis has obliged most educational systems to adopt alternatives to face-to-face teaching and learning process. The shift of the teaching-learning delivery in schools to modular distance learning made the educational process more challenging on the part of the school personnel, parents, and learners.
As another school year unfolds, problems continuously arise in the implementation of modular distance learning, which entails individualized instruction that allows learners to use self-learning modules in print or digital format or electronic copy, whichever is applicable in the context of the learner, and other learning resources like learners' materials, textbooks, activity sheets, study guides, and other study materials. Accordingly, the survey conducted by the Department of Education revealed that parents and learners mostly preferred modular offline learning or the use of printed modules. These self-learning modules are already considered learning packages containing pre-test, discussion, and a series of evaluation or assessment. The learners learn on their own pace, thus increases the student-centered approach in learning. As the new normal condition and available resources necessitate, Marcelo I. Cabrera Vocational High School opted to adopt the so-called modular distance learning through the use of printed and digital modules. However, the implementation of modular instruction fostered various challenges to teachers, school administrators, students, and parents. In an article issued by Manila Times last September, the struggles faced by the students enrolled in the distance learning were discussed. According to this article, teachers and students similarly struggled and experienced many problems such as poor internet connections, insufficient supply of materials, difficulties with lessons, and others, with the additional worry on the former whether their wards were learning the proper way. A November 21 to 25, 2020 poll conducted by the SWS among 1,200 respondents, 61% said that modular distance learning had been much more difficult than face-to-face learning, and who also claimed that they have learned less. This urged the researchers to conduct this study. Significantly, this study aims to identify all the problems and challenges encountered by MICVHS teachers, school administrators, learners, and parents in the implementation of modular distance learning for school year 2020-2021 and properly address the school problems identified. The researchers conducted survey interview to gather sufficient data from the respondents. The data gathered from them were used as basis for the projected improvement. Findings were utilized to improve the initially crafted school's basic education learning continuity plan and came up with the most appropriate one, which stipulated the new formulated school policies, programs, projects, and activities which were responsive to the needs of its community and brought about positive change within learners and school context.
To vividly see the vital data and process that we gathered and done to improve the school's basic learning continuity plan, this research paradigm is designed. The illustrations show the conceptual framework of the study. It comprised the challenges encountered by the teachers, school administrators, learners, and parents in having modular distance learning as the instruction modality. The challenges identified through survey questionnaire and interview were used in crafting the improved school basic education learning continuity plan, addressing the challenges with efficacy and efficiency at the beginning of another school year. The improved BELCV served as a guidepost and roadmap of the school in eventually achieving improved learners' academic performance, effective and quality teacher services, good and efficient school governance, and better parent support. The following questions were answered in this study. First, what are the challenges encountered by the teachers in modular distance learning? Second, what are the challenges encountered by the school administrator in implementing modular distance learning? Third, what are the challenges encountered by the students in modular distance learning? Fourth, what are the challenges encountered by the parents in modular distance learning? And lastly, based on the findings of the study, what improvement for the school basic education learning continuity plan may be proposed? This research covered the first and second quarter of school year 2020-2021. The respondents were comprised of 4 school administrators, 5 teachers, 9 parents, and 9 students of Marcelo I. Cabrera Vocational High School who encountered challenges in implementing modular distance learning. Questionnaires were used to gather data from the respondents. A qualitative phenomenological research designed to determine the challenges encountered by the school administrators, teachers, parents, and students in using modular distance learning as learning modality was applied in the conduct of this basic research. This research design is appropriate to this study because this is an effective way to gather valuable data and to understand the problem. Non-probability sampling techniques, specifically the uncontrolled quota sampling, was used in this study. The 22 samples came from the 4 strata of the population. It was comprised of 5 school administrators, 7 teachers, 5 parents, and 5 students of Marcelo I. Cabrera Vocational High School who encountered challenges in implementing modular distance learning. Through this sampling technique, the researchers gathered or collected the data from their chosen sample and gave faster and concrete evidence towards the problem encountered. A non-obstructive data collection process wherein the samples were free to answer and not influenced in giving responses to the questionnaires and interviews was utilized in the collection of data. The researchers applied the standard health protocols to avoid the spread of COVID-19 virus. Therefore, they prepared 3 ways of collecting data. In option 1, the respondents were given a printed questionnaire or electronic copy and they were free to write their answer in the answer sheets provided. In option 2, the researchers conducted a face-to-face interview and the responses of the respondents were recorded or video recorded. In option 3, the interview was conducted using virtual or online platform like Facebook Messenger and the conversation between the researchers and respondents was recorded. Gathering data or interview was conducted at the end of the first quarter of school year 2020-2021. This research gathered qualitative data to understand deeply the problem. It followed the process of analyzing the qualitative, the transcribing, the coding, and the teaming by Gibbs of 2018. Upon the conduct of oral interview through virtual and face-to-face, the voice or video recorded were transcribed to organize the raw data. Transcribing the recorded interview helped the researchers to work collaboratively and validate all the data transcribed. The data gathered undergone intensive reading and review to get the sense of the data. Concept map highlighting keywords and phrases, making notes in the margins to categorize the data helped the researchers to create initial code. Those codes were reviewed and revised or combined into teams. With this, the researchers were confident to give a reliable result of this study.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, institutions, administrators, educators, students, and even parents have unpreparedly found themselves in the distance education process. As Rasmi Tadila in 2022 quoted, transition from face-to-face teaching methods to more indirect methods has forced schools into a flow of learning which is full of complexities and limitations. This shift in mode of instruction does not only pose struggles to the students but also to the teachers, administrators, and parents who play an integral part in the new normal education. This study showed that these key individuals encountered various challenges in the implementation of modular distance learning amid the COVID-19 pandemic. In the general perspective on the challenges encountered by teachers in modular distance learning, the study has shown the struggles of the teachers in terms of preparing modules, involving the parents, assuring the quality of learning acquired by the learners, monitoring their progress, and preparing intervention activities and programs. The school administrators' challenges in modular distance learning as a learning modality include the coping mechanisms of the teachers, funding the module production, ensuring the health and safety of the school personnel, improving the quality of instruction, as well as teachers' and students' preparedness. As experienced by the students, the challenges they encountered in modular distance learning focused on the approach of the module, teachers' factor, parental involvement, and the presence of distractors. Parental involvement is one of the great factors in the success of this learning modality. However, challenges such as educational background, time allotment to guide the learner, and the behavior of their children were commonly encountered by the parents in modular distance learning. The results of the investigations proposed the improvement of schools' basic education learning continuity plan to help the teachers, administrators, students, and parents to meet the standards of MDL as a learning modality and address the needs of the learners in an aim to improve their academic performance. In view of the preceding findings, the following conclusions are finalized by the researchers. First, teachers face problems and challenges relative to the implementation of modular distance learning, wherein module preparation and monitoring students' progress have been considered a main struggle. Second, with the interruption of education during the COVID-19 pandemic, school administrators were faced with many challenges to support students, parents, and teachers. Third, difficulty in independent learning, distraction, and lack of time management skills emerge as the main challenges encountered by the learners. Fourth, the parents' lack of knowledge to academically guide their children is the main challenge encountered by the parents in modular distance learning. Fifth, based on the findings of the study, there is a need to consider improving the school's basic education learning continuity plan to serve as the guidepost and roadmap of the school in eventually achieving improved learners' academic performance, effective and quality teacher services, good and efficient school governance, and better parent support. Distance education has always carried problems. However, some of the problems revealed as a result of the study are related specifically to COVID-19 pandemic period. After thorough analysis of the results of the study and the conclusions made, the researchers have come up with the following recommendations. Teachers should formulate alternative plans on different issues that may arise in the process of teaching and equip themselves by attending to webinars to adapt to the changes in the new normal education. School authorities should continue to implement a system in terms of delivery and retrieval of modules to ensure that both parents and teachers are aware of what to do, as well as keep everyone safe from the effects of COVID-19 pandemic and be trained to develop digital, technology, leadership, and crisis management skills. The schools and the teachers should understand the continuum of home lives and concerns that parents are experiencing and work to meet the needs of each family. Thus, they should also differentiate their practices in instructions for families with a wide variety of situations. Parents should attend training programs on effective learning at home to be equipped with effective strategies to deal with their children. The researchers recommend to craft BELCP in relation to progressive expansion of face-to-face learning modality. Learning loss is at an all-time high due to the lockdowns in the pandemic, forcing unfamiliar, inaccessible ways of learning onto students. To mitigate this, distance learning modalities must be improved. according to the officials from the Department of Education and United Nations Children's Fund. The Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, which DepEd first implemented in 2020, has been subject to improvements for the past few months.
Filipino parents called for the immediate reopening of face-to-face classes. UNICEF's collaborations with DepEd on producing heat maps to guide strategy for resuming in-person classes focuses on helping the more disadvantaged students by identifying the level of learning loss in order to put in place the best evidence-based remedial programs.
Extending instructional time to more hours of classes, extending the school calendar, developing self-guided programs or small group tutoring, all of these can have special targets for more disadvantaged students. As educators who aim for the holistic development of the learners, we say yes to the continuity of education process. Thank you and mabuhay!